So the new GTI Clubsport 50 has now sort of been announced. I'm filming this on May the 16th, 2024. And as you can kind of see in the background, that's actually of the GTI Clubsport 45, something I filmed a couple of years ago, spent a fair bit of time to it. I kind of wanted to compare it a little bit to that, also to the Clubsport 40th, but also just to talk about this new car, which, yeah, Volkswagen are making. It's due sort of the 31st of May, I believe. That's kind of my understanding of it. So yeah, just to give you kind of what we know at the moment and what we're set to know in the future. And I'm also really interested to know your thoughts in kind of like the comments of what kind of you want to see from this car. And yeah, I'll share my thoughts. So we'll get straight into this. So just for the second, I'm going to pause this video and head to the news that was kind of breaking. Now, this is the really bad blurred image of the Nürburgring about the 50th anniversary of the Golf. So it's the next GTI Clubsport. So the picture's pretty not so good, to be honest with you. So yeah, it'll be interesting to know what I decide as a thumbnail for this one. But essentially, just quoting off from what this says on this article, the year 2024 marks 50 years of the iconic Volkswagen Golf. So to celebrate it, they're bringing out a limited edition. And yeah, a little bit of information kind of around it, talking about whether or not it'll be as hardcore as the Clubsport S, which from the Mark 7, which it doesn't seem quite likely, the sort of power upgrades we're going to get to see. And well, it'll basically be part of the Mark 8.5 facelift. That's basically the idea of the new Golf that's coming out. And there's also, they're even talking about the Mark 0.85 TCR, which is quite interesting. So yeah, lots of things to be kind of interested about. But yeah, blurry teaser shots is certainly the name of the game here. Incidentally, you can actually, I believe, order the new Golf now. I haven't seen much from the GTI, but you can. There's a few like petrol variants and stuff like that, just as the kind of new facelift looks, which I'm really excited to kind of hopefully check out soon as possible to kind of share with you guys. So that's going to be available. And you obviously get the new screen. You get a few things about that with the new facelift, which will come as part of the 50th GTI Clubsport. But in truth, there's not much information we know about it. So for me, I just kind of want to talk to you about my experiences with GTI Clubsports and what I would like this one to see, and also what I feel you guys would want to see. And obviously, let me know your thoughts in the comments around that also. But let's kind of resume to one of the videos I did on the GTI Clubsport 45. And I remember that car quite vividly, actually, because I filmed it up in the Peak District with the subscriber. Yeah, you can kind of see me here kind of chatting about it. And yeah, the car was like super, super special. It looked great in sort of like moonstone grey. It had some great accents to it, more sort of like a bit more premium quality. This one had DCC as well. Remember, same sort of power. It's just really the decals and the wheels, and well, it had an Akrapovic exhaust too. But it really was a cool car. It was basically a GTI Clubsport with just a few extra little tweaks in limited form numbers. I enjoyed the drive in it. I enjoyed a lot of the aspects of it. I liked a little bit more exclusivity with the car. And yeah, it felt like a nice little step up, but it potentially might have been a little bit half-hearted. There wasn't really too much difference to a normal GTI Clubsport, if I'm honest with you. And yeah, I talk about like the bigger wheels that they kind of did in the 45. Yeah, and the few little touches on that side. But should they have potentially gone further? And like, as I kind of pause this and just go to another sort of side, I also spent a bit of time in a GTI 40th before, which was this one, and I absolutely loved it. And I kind of compared the 40th and the 45 kind of back to front. Again, all these three videos are a few years old, and I'll link them in the description if you're interested in seeing them. And it just got me thinking about what this 50th is and what we kind of want to see and what we kind of get. We're in a bit of a different world with sort of like, well, basically regulations and stuff now. The Mark 7, you see my Mark 7 Golf R there, and the GTI Clubsport 40th here. This one had like the bucket seats. It was 265 horsepower with an overboost to about 285, I believe. Really, really nice. Sounded really, really good. That was a 3-door manual, that one, but you could get them in DSG too. Whereas the facelift Mark 8 only came in DSG. It seems like Volkswagen sort of moved away from sort of like the manual kind of aspect now on cars, which is a bit sad. Maybe that's something that they could potentially bring back in, and maybe they will do in the future. I mean, I don't think they're going to do it for the 50th. You can just see there like flashes of like the 45 that they kind of added. This was inside the 40th, so it had the manual, it had the Alcantara steering wheel, 3 pedals, proper bucket seats. Now, yeah, and they're really hard to find actually, and they were really, really sorted, you know, not just your normal comfort seats. They were like, yeah, serious. It's quite difficult to get in and out sometimes, but you can see that they were proper hardcore. You know, hey, maybe clutching at straws, but that could be something potentially for the 50th. In terms of how the cars drove, I liked them both. I felt like the Mark 8 was a little bit more refined than the Mark 7. And as a result, a little bit less driver engagement. And that's what I liked about the 40th. But then I guess that's why we've got those two models available. We can kind of go back into, and if you're really, really hardcore into your GTIs, these are kind of the top of the range you can kind of get from them. Whether or not there will potentially be a TCR model, whether or not they will do something really, really special with the GTI, or even like a Clubsport S type guise, which was no back seats kind of car, is questionable, particularly in this day and age with Volkswagen. And certainly the vibe that I've kind of got with like their press team and stuff, I'm not 100% sure, but you know, I'd like to think that they would give it a good effort. Like you can see just as I pause it here, you see all like the gloss black stuff, even stuff like that, and that's standard, by the way. I believe, I'm not 100% sure if he's got an extended front splitter, but certainly a lot of the gloss black is standard, and this was the 40th. On the 45, it was all just scratchy plastic. It was just a little bit less of a quality, and that was a real shame, particularly on a top high-end model. They could have done something. They could have added the seats, they could have added this, they could have added that, and they could have potentially charged a premium for it, which I believe they're gonna. I mean, we talk about price, only knows what it's going to be costing and how many numbers they're going to make, but you're probably looking upwards towards the £50,000 mark, 45 to £50,000, probably more. I don't know how many numbers they make. It's always quite challenging to kind of work out numbers. Maybe maybe 500, something like that. Depends how much they can sell, I suppose, particularly in this day and age. But yeah, you can see me. So I was kind of walking about this. I was actually talking about how nice I liked all those gloss black accents and how every single thing was functional. So you can see how it just works with the aerodynamics, and you can see the actual grooves. They actually worked. It wasn't just for styling's sake. It was a proper sorted car, and actually the Clubsport 40th had the exact same looks as a Clubsport S, but it had the practicality of the back seats and slightly less power. I would love Volkswagen to look back on their kind of history of the Golf and what was so great about it. You can see the Clubsport S discs sort of in the front there too. I've actually got them on my Golf R. The rear wing was proper special. I mean, you can see sort of like the depth in that. That's a mega wing. And just see the end of the back seats too. All things that, yeah, to be honest, encompass into a 50th. You know, make it something special. Even, you know, cars are just ridiculously expensive now at the end of the day. And, you know, to be paying nearly 50 grand for a car, you know, a couple of grand here and there to get these extra little bits, I think people would pay for it. You know, it's not a car now that everyone can just walk into. I mean, I'm not saying everyone could just walk into this car, but it certainly was potentially more attainable than it is today. So as a result, with it being less attainable, I think it should have more tweaks to make it better, basically. I actually spent a lot of time chatting with the owner as well, actually, on the 45, and he really loved it. It was one of the best cars he kind of had, and driving it around in the Peak District, I enjoyed it too. Certainly speed-wise and sort of fun-wise, I really, really did enjoy it. And certainly on back twisty roads, it was a special kind of car. Certainly more capable than the 40th, and I can only imagine the Mark 8.5 facelift 50th is going to be quite the same. Yeah, as I kind of look through further, and this is when you get a really good look of sort of like the bucket seats, a little bit more stripped out. The quality of the Mark 7 are just amazing. And, you know, to be fair, I mean, a lot of the Mark 8 still uses touches like the indicators and stuff like that, and like the mirrors are the same. Hey, the Mark 8 should have just barely been a Mark 7 with a few little tweaks. I also actually had a chat with an owner. I had a Q&A for about 50 minutes with this owner if you want to check that out. So I'll leave these 3 videos in the description just for you guys to, yeah, this was soon after I had picked it up, and I had a good chat with him and just, yeah, about the Clubsport 45. And maybe it will help you out in kind of thinking about the 50th. Yeah, what to kind of do for that. Maybe you own a 45. Maybe you want to go to a 50th. This new facelift Mark 8.5, obviously the facelift interior, which obviously I'm hopefully going to show in the future. So that's always available. Um, yeah, and it was a good chat, but trying to focus a little bit more on, well, the current generation Golf, this latest facelift version with the new screen. This one has a manual gearbox. I would like the 50th to have a manual. I think that would be something different. Are they going to? Probably not. It's going to be the 7-speed auto. That's just where we're at. But that's something that I think would be quite good, quite a bit more engaging. Special seats would be great. Do I think all these things are going to happen though? I just doubt it. We're just in a different world in 2024, sadly, than we were in previous times. And you have to kind of get what, be happy with what you are given, play the cards that are dealt in front of you. And I'm happy that they're still sort of having some sort of justification to make it. I just hope they actually do something which actually makes it a little bit different rather than just limited numbers and maybe a bit of a change in like the wheels and the aesthetics. Wasn't really enough for the 45. As much as I love the 45, I would probably just have a normal Club Sport S if I'm on a normal Mark 8 Club Sport. So let's see what they do. Maybe they increase the power a little bit. Maybe they do add a few more tricks and things here and there, but I struggle to feel that will be the case. But we'll find out more on the 31st of May, and I will share that more. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you think about the GTI Clubsport and the announcement of the 50th. Are you happy about it? Are you not happy about it? What do you want to see? And what do you not want to see as well is equally just as important. And also a little bit around the kind of like, I suppose, the rivals that you can obviously get a lot of different cars these days. And does the Golf sort of heritage warrant it to getting this kind of 50th anniversary over, say, a rival? I've driven Cupras, I've driven a lot of great cars, particularly front-wheel drive hot hatches. The Hyundai 30N I've been thinking about quite a lot. It's really brilliant with its DCT and the manual, unbelievable car, and drives superbly. Which I have actually got videos on as well. I'll just leave them all in the description if you want to binge and check them out. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. It is a community channel. New car is good news for me because it's kind of like it just keeps it alive, keeps the bubble sort of just simmering a little bit as we kind of go through this phase to see what happens with electric, hybrid, and fully combustion engine cars. But yeah, limited edition 50th anniversary GTI set to be announced on the 31st of May, and I will share with you the details when I hear it. But yeah, like, share, subscribe for plenty more content to come, and comment. Be happy to know your thoughts in the description because it is a community channel. We're all here to help each other out. And yeah, have a fantastic rest of your day.